Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode. I hope you're all having a great day. You see we got new colors on the car, new sponsor with Junior Motorsports here this weekend, GovX, and I have some good news. I have finally fixed our slow start issue here in NASCAR 25. I have made the decision to turn on automatic transmission and you will see way better starts starting today. And on top of that, I have a very exciting announcement. We have an off weekend coming up in just after next episode in Martinsville, and we, alongside our personal sponsor Boost Energy, will actually be competing in the Monaco Rally in 2 episodes from now, following the Martinsville weekend that's coming up. So in between Martinsville and Darlington, there is an off weekend, and we will be racing at the Monaco Rally. That is going to be something very different for us here as a NASCAR driver, and a really good opportunity to showcase what a NASCAR driver can do behind the wheel. So I am very excited for the opportunity, but of course, first and foremost, the focus is on this weekend here in Miami and continuing to build upon the season that we've had so far here with Junior Motorsports. We come into today with this brand new chase format for 2026, currently 12th in the standings. Of course, still 16 drivers do make the chase, so as it stands right now, we're doing what we need to be doing, but I have expectations to run top 10 here this weekend as Kyle Larson topped the board here in practice, and now we can focus in on qualifying. Absolutely beautiful paint scheme we've got on this JRM number 15 Chevrolet as we come through to start our lap with a goal of a top 20. And as well this weekend, I mean, just want to point out, you see us on board there with the Next Level Racing GT Racer 2.0 cockpit that we're in. If you use my code GOIN5 in the description, you get a 5% discount on all orders on nextlevelracing.com as we head down into turn 3 and 4 one more time here, running the bottom, slipping up through the middle all the way to the outside wall, nearly into the outside wall there on the exit of the corner, but we keep it planted to the line. It's going to be P24 with the 32.131. Larson pole over Hamlin. Byron, actually, surprisingly, by 1,000th of a second, we have avoided a Kyle Larson and William Byron front row lockout on 1.5 miles. And you see the rest of the order there, and now it's time as well to go O'Reilly Series racing for the second consecutive weekend. And we cut through to just over 10 laps to go as we were racing for Hendrick Motorsports here this weekend, and Connor Zilish as well as Justin Allgaier right now racing up towards the front. And I was unfortunately in the back half of the top 10 trying to work my way forward, and we were doing so. We were making a pass here on the Haas Factory Team 41 of Sam Air, but unfortunately here, hitting the outside wall in 3 and 4, and that completely stalls out all the momentum we had, and we give up, 2 spots there to Burton and Love, and another spot here to Sam Air. So unfortunately, a big setback there coming to 10 laps to go in this race. So I knew we had our work cut out for us now, and we weren't going to be a threat to win like we were last time out. Unfortunately, now in our second of 10 O'Reilly races that we'll be doing throughout this season now as we come through in these closing laps at this point, coming to 7 laps to go, and we're working our way back forward after knocking that wall down, and we passed the 25 of Burton, now up into the 9th position. Then we were to the back of Creed, and then I hit the wall again, trying a little bit too hard in the late going of this race now, and at this point I knew, yeah, we're not going to really get the result that we should out of this one now, so it was just about trying to bring it home in one piece and focus in now on really just Sunday and trying to have a good run there on the Cup Series side of things now within the last few laps at this point here, fighting with Sheldon Creed and Ryan Sieg as well just up ahead. Jesse Love going at it with the 20 of Brandon Jones, and we were scrapping it out here in the bottom half of the top 10 as Allgaier at this point had kind of solidified himself out front with Eric Almirola currently in P2, and here with a couple laps to go, sliding across the nose of Creed and Sieg as well. And as we approach the final lap of this race, again ripping the outside lane, here came Sam Mayer, who had run us all back down. He had gotten himself up into P7. We're going to give him a little bit of a shot to the bumper there and get ourselves in front of Creed for P8 as we head down into turn 3 with a move on the 41. Can we maybe get him through 3 and 4 to the line? I don't think so, because we have to lift, because we got the 00 shooting the middle, 3 wide with the 2 Haas Factory team teammates, and unfortunately they're going to get us both, and we drop down to P9 to finish here in an exciting O'Reilly Series race. And now it's time to go Cup Series racing here. We fast forward to Sunday afternoon, and on the grid in new colors, new sponsor on the car. We've got 4 different main sponsors on this number 15 currently, with of course Target and now GovX, and we got Domino's as well as Boost Energy, which we'll be seeing back on the track next episode in Martinsville. Here we go, 67 laps of racing here from Homestead, Miami, and here we go. Green flag is out. We're racing from Miami. Michael McDowell alongside us, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin lead the field to the green flag as we head down into turn one. 20 laps of racing here in this opening stage. So, of course, running 4X fuel and wear, we will have to make a pit stop here, potentially, depending on if we get a caution, where that caution falls. We often see a yellow in stage 1 kind of eliminate that pit stop, so would not be surprised. But what you're going to see me doing is a lot of this today, running the outside wall. You guys know I love to rip the outside. Any opportunity I can do it, and today is one of the better opportunities that we'll have all season long to do that. Now, not starting where we wanted to, but I am confident that we are going to have competitive pace here. Now is an opportunity right off the bat to go 4 wide. I think way better of that one. We'll settle in behind Barry Suarez across his nose right there, and he's side by side with his Trackhouse teammate of Shane Van Gisbergen into turn number 3. Larson still leads, but I can see from here Byron's to the inside of that number 5 HenderCars.com Chevrolet looking for the lead here in Miami at the conclusion of lap 2 as we slide across the nose of the 21 of Josh Berry, who gives us a nice shove forward, and we were racing real tight with Zane Smith, Suarez, Haley as well, even some contact into turn 3 right there with the 38, who kind of just pushes right on through, and unfortunately we lose 3 spots because of that, and back down into 28th we go with a big shot from behind with the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. The racing here from 20th to 30th is absolutely wild. We found that out many times last season, but we have a way better car than that, and I expect to be running further up the order. But there was certainly some adjustments that I think we are going to need to make, specifically tire pressures again. I think we're going to have to put those down, and a little bit of an adjustment on the wedge. We've been firing off a lot better in these races this season than we have in previously, you know, with Tricon, but today we're definitely firing off on the wrong side, so we're going to need to make those adjustments once we get to the pit lane now, as we have gotten back up to the back of the 88 WeatherTech Chevrolet of Shane Van Gisbergen, and we would continue to follow him and get to the back of Zane Smith as well. Shoot to the inside of the 38 into turn number 3 as we follow this 88 now and trying to make this inside work. And it's not easy because the car's just not driving the way I would like it right now, but we have some help, fortunately, from Zane Smith's teammate, who would rather help me, and that's the number 4 of Noah Gregson, who'll give us a big shove here into turn 1. Up ahead, Logano goes around to the outside wall and hits the 88 of S3G, who goes spinning. Caution is out here from Miami for cause, and I immediately know this is going to present an awkward fuel situation, so to avoid any saving of fuel, I'm going to pit. And on top of that, we're going to make adjustments. So we're going to go down to 49.0 on the wedge, and we're going to go down quite a bit on the tire pressures. Myself and Riley Herbst both come in. He gives up no positions from last. I unfortunately do relinquish 15 positions. So obviously some work to do here as we return to the green flag, and it's going to be 10 laps to go. We might have been okay on fuel, but it would have been really, really close, and we would have probably still had to save some fuel. But overall, I wasn't happy with where our car was right there, so I kind of welcome giving up some track position, because I think with these adjustments that we just put into this number 15, I think we're going to be able to get all the way back to where we were. And honestly, with the fresh tire advantage on top of that, 10 laps, I think it's plenty of time to get ourselves even into the top 20 before this stage comes to a close.
One on the bottom.
And as you see me ripping through some traffic right here, you got Corey LaJoie, you got Todd Gilliland into turn number 1 side by side, and I'm kind of trying to split right through everybody that I can through the center of 1 and 2. Ware to my inside, Gilliland to the out. And as we head down this back straightaway, we'll have help briefly from the 35 of Riley Herbst. Another shot coming from him. That allows me to the inside of the 0-1 of Corey LaJoie. William Byron currently out in front here from Homestead, Miami, as we look to the inside of Daniel Suarez. Now Suarez has had a pretty horrific season so far in that Trackhouse number 99, and he would love to turn things around starting here in Miami, but things are not looking good early on for that 99 Freeway Insurance Chevrolet as we continue to march our way forward. Now ripping the inside, not even having to rely on the top lane to do it. We are going forward now to the inside of Austin Dillon, right to the back of the 42. We'll get to the outside of him into turns 1 and 2. Nemechek, the lowest driver in points coming into today's race now, as we've actually got a new leader briefly. It's the 19 of Chase Briscoe as we come to the conclusion of lap 15, and we're already up to the back at 20 seconds, Carson Hocevar. And as we come to 5 to go in stage number 1 to the back of his teammate, as we're battling right here with 2 Spire drivers now, and we will continue to rip the outside line. Chase Elliott now to the lead, and then back to Briscoe as we come into these final few laps of racing, and a top 20 is looking pretty likely at this point. We just got to pass Kyle Busch, and we would run him down with 3 laps to go here in stage 1. Joey Logano in 19th, not having a good race there. Joey Logano, he has not won a race in this career mode since the Daytona 500 last season. It's been rough for that 22 team, and now they don't have any playoffs. They don't have a win and you're in format, you know, so I'm going to be curious to see if Logano even makes the chase this season, as Kyle Larson actually returns to the lead of this race here, coming to 2 laps to go in stage 1, as we're going to battle with Logano's and Blaney's teammate here of Austin Cindric. And with 2 to go, Logano gives me a nice shove here into turn 1, and now we are going to hang on P17. We could maybe run down Ty Gibbs before this stage comes to a conclusion, especially with this help from Logano, and sure enough, we would get there. 1 lap to go, right to the bank and now to the inside of the 54 of Ty Gibbs into turn number 1. It's not going to be stage points here in stage 1, and I talked about it already. That's kind of where we're really lacking, is giving up some stage points. We're getting some solid finishes, but we're not getting the stage points in stage 1 and 2, and that's really what's hurting us right now. Is Kyle Larson, talk about maximizing stage points. He's the guy that's been doing that. Kyle Larson is going to come through to win stage 1, as I nearly get to the outside wall, but all the way to 16th here in stage 1 in the last 10 laps. A very, very promising sign of what's to come throughout the rest of this race. So we're going to come in. We're going to get 4 tires again. We're going to fill it up on fuel as well, and we'll get ready to rip here for stage number 2. The tires they're wearing quite a lot here, so that is something I am a little bit worried about, but I did not make any adjustments. I was pretty happy with where the car was, and now we'll get ready to restart behind the number 23 of Bubba Wallace. Kyle Larson's going to lead the field back to green. Stage 2 kicks off from P16. Speaking of 16, AJ Allmendinger there to my inside in that Celsius number 16 colleague Chevrolet, as we head down into turn 1. 21 laps of racing here in stage 2, just 1 additional lap compared to that first stage, and Kyle Larson in complete control. Denny Hamlin up there alongside him as well. Denny Hamlin yet to get to victory lane after a heartbreaking championship 4 loss last season. Christopher Bell, obviously, he's been the main man so far. We look at the season, the winners. Ty Dillon won the Daytona 500. You've got a win for Kyle Larson, a win for William Byron, and 2 wins for Christopher Bell, as he looks to go for a 3rd win here this weekend. Highly doubt we're going to see him pick up the win here in Miami. I feel like it's going to be really between Kyle Larson and probably not Christopher Bell, but William Byron as we continue on. And look at the moves that we are making into 14th, now 13th here into turn number 3. AJ Allmendinger going forward as well on this restart. Kyle Larson is around. Big impact, cautions out. The rear tires lift off the ground. We're involved, and we're going to get away with that one because the caution was out before the contact, so the game doesn't register that as damage. Therefore, our car is in pristine condition. We'll get ready to restart 15th. Now, if the game wasn't silly, in a scenario where if they always damaged the car that crashed and sent them to the back, I would do a little bit of role play and come in as well and add to the immersion, but the game screws the player over in that scenario as well, where, you know, the AI, they don't get really penalized for a crash like that, so therefore I'm not pitting. And can we just talk about the fact that we've had great restarts here today because of going to automatic transmission? I don't want to do that because I have a sequential shifter. I want to use it, and I paid money to use it. But the game, the restarts, it's absolute garbage, and they haven't bothered to fix it. So therefore, you know what? If you haven't bothered to fix it, it's not worth my time. I'm going to go into automatic transmission and get these better starts. So we're going to use that at all the tracks that have these starts. Now, at road courses, I will continue to be on manual transmission yeah, some short tracks and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, Denny Hamlin's around. The number 11 Progressive Toyota into the outside wall. Caution is out, and I was just about to mention Kyle Larson seems to be off the pace after that crash. I think that number 5 might be in trouble. Now Denny Hamlin drops to P11. Tyler Reddick is now in the lead of this race in that number 45 Jordan branded Toyota as we get ready to go green once again here. Stage 2, everything's kicking off so far. We haven't really had much green flag racing to show for it. It's been a lot of yellows so far, 2 yellows in the first 10 laps. And now we've got just over 10 laps to go. 11 laps to go, and I have 11 laps of fuel. So fortunately, we will be good to make it to the end of stage 2. I was taking a bit of a risk there, not pitting, but fortunately, it will work out. And there you see Kyle Larson behind us. You can tell Kyle Larson's not got the speed that he had. I mean, obviously, he was fighting for the win today, and now here he is running in the mid-teens, and he clearly, yeah, he cannot hold that momentum. So Kyle Larson's going to be in some trouble here throughout the rest of this race, and we can probably write him off as a threat to win, and we'll wait and see how things go, but I don't think he's going to be much of a factor now as we're to the back of the Menards, number 2 of Cindric, and we continue battling, actually going to the outside of him through 3 and 4, briefly 4 wide as we exit turn number 4, but not where I want to be. I expected to be top 10 by now, but we've really kind of got a bad restart here and just not in the position I want to be in, as right now Reddick continues to lead, but he's battling with Christopher Bell as well as the number 24 of William Byron in these final 7 or so laps here in stage 2, and we've kind of flatlined a little bit. And what I was noticing is as the tires continue to wear on this number 15 GovX Chevrolet, it definitely is killing our pace more than it does at a lot of tracks. Usually we have long run pace, and like we are one of the better cars when it comes to the long run, where today it's feeling like it's a bit of the opposite now. So we're just kind of in a battle with Kozlowski and Allmendinger here, but I knew at this point now we're going to have to focus in on stage 3 of just getting whatever we can on the restart and then try to play defense, because clearly we don't have the car we need when it comes to the long run.
Outside now.
And now here we are, fighting to the inside of Kyle Busch as William Byron actually has gotten the lead and also driving away from the 45 and the 20 as Denny Hamlin's back up towards the front as well. So Hamlin, he hasn't really been affected by the damage he picked up in that crash, but Kyle Larson has. Kyle Larson's nowhere to be found right now, as unfortunately in these final few laps of the stage, I am just kind of hanging on to P17. I'm confident we're going to still get a shot to be in the top 10 because I know what I need to do differently. And as we come through to the final lap here of stage 2, I've got Allmendinger still just behind me with 1 lap to go in the second stage. William Byron in control, and that's Exalta number 24 Chevrolet as we continue to rip that seam. Now cross over to the middle of the racetrack as we exit turn number 2, and just hoping Allmendinger is going to give me one final shove down the back straightaway. Obviously none of us fighting for stage points now, as we're just going to roll through 3 and 4 one more time. William Byron is going to take stage 2 as we come off of turn 4, just waiting for 10th place to cross the line right about now. Caution's out, 17th place here in the second stage. But I'm not, like I said, too worried about that. I genuinely think we can go get a top 10 still here. So again, just struggling to get stage points, and that's going to cost us, especially when we get to the chase. That's something that, you know, assuming we're in it, that's something we cannot afford, is giving up stage points. But we're coming in, we're going to make a wedge adjustment, and we're also going to make tire pressure adjustments. The right sides, we're going to bring them even with the lefts now, put them down to 15 as we gain 2 spots in the pit lane. one of those spots was the 11 of Denny Hamlin as the third and final stage is underway. You can see in the mirror the progressive number 11 just behind the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. So we will often see the AI that crash have a longer pit stops, and sure enough, that number 11 is going to be behind us. Kyle Larson, I would imagine, is even further down the order, but you have to wonder maybe if they'll get a little bit more speed in the number 5 after a long pit stop, maybe getting some repairs, as it's going to be, once we come back to the line, just 25 laps to go here from Miami. No green flag pit stop so far today. Could we see that here in stage 3? We're ripping the bottom here. We know what we've seen so far. We need to attack, and we need to attack right now and gain whatever we can in these first 5 to 10 laps of this run, because we just don't have the long run speed. Now, with the adjustments we just made, maybe we will be a little bit better on the long run, but look at us just rip through 1 and 2. Chase Elliott, Keselowski in front of us. We're going to blow right by them both here as we head down the front straightaway now, coming to lap 44. Ross Chastain runs P10 in that Kubota number 1, and we're going to get back up to the outside here. Sure enough, ripping the top around the outside of the Ally Financial 48 of Alex Bowman, who's still searching for a ride here. Now we know at the end of the season he will be out of that 48 car, as he's going to give me a nice shot here into turn number 1 as we head off into the corner. Christopher Bell currently leads. I said earlier I didn't really think it was going to be a threat to win, but here he is now looking for his 3rd win on the season as we're to the outside of Chris Buescher into the top 10 here from Miami now, as we're alongside the number 45, or sorry, not 45, the number 1 of Chastain, and right to the back of the 60 of Priest. To the right rear, we're 3 wide on the exit of turn 4 and very close quarters. Chastain running way up the racetrack there for being the 3rd car on the inside, but we continue to fight forward, passing Priest and continuing to fight side by side with the number 1 as Bubba Wallace. We're running him down very quickly as well, coming to lap 47, but not only me, this guy as well, Chastain and myself, been very even on our way forward here, but finally we're in the top 10. We maximized our potential there on that restart, and it has paid off, because here we go around the outside of the 23, and myself and Chastain continue forward into 6th and 7th as we finally will clear Chastain here, coming to the end of lap 47, and now move ourselves up into P6, trying to run down Chase Briscoe. But unfortunately, this was the point where things started to transition into more of a struggle as we're getting closer to the longer run, the tires falling off, and unfortunately I flatlined. And now I knew it's just about hanging on at this point here to the pit stop or to a caution, whatever one comes first here. Now as we hit lap 50, 18 laps to go, so we're just about in the fuel window as well, so we can get ready to pit here at any point, but I'm really just going to wait for the call from my crew chief. But unfortunately, there on lap 50 at the end of this lap, Chastain's back to me, and as well Chris Buescher is here, and you see my tire warning light has come on, and yeah, unfortunately I'm just starting to struggle, and we're going to drop down to the back part of the top 10 again as Chastain and Buescher both go through. Ryan Preece as well, looking to my left rear as we come to the end of lap 51. So at this point, it's just get to the pit stop here. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, they're coming up behind us as well as we hit lap 52 at this point now, and preparing to come in for a pit stop. Not really looking for adjustments. I don't think there's much more we can do to this car. Really just looking for 4 tires, and we're going to push hard as Chase Elliott would come up right to my back bumper, and I would get the call to pit way too late. I was in the middle of 3 and 4 when my crew chief said, hey, let's pit. So we're going to come in at the end of this lap right here. End of lap 53, we will come in. The crew chief makes the call for 4 tires and fuel, as we actually are able to make the inside work here and get back in front of Ryan Preece. But now, of course, we're just trying to cover the inside lane here as we head down into turn 3. I pull way over just to kind of be like, hey, I am coming into the pits here as we roll through 3 and 4. Joey Logano right to the back of myself. I hope I don't check him up too much as I'm actually sliding right there through the center of the corner, but we're going to get down to the pits here, down to the 50 miles per hour, and we'll come in and we'll get our 4 tires, and now we're just going to drive as hard as we can to the end of this race. It's going to be a 16.1 second pit stop now, as you see on the track map. Just as we're exiting, others are starting to come in as well. William Byron's been in control pretty well all of stage 3. He had a lot of control in stage 2. Won the stage. I just saw Kyle Larson there. 24th is where the 5 car runs. not going to be a strong day in the points for Kyle Larson. 1 win on the season, but outside of that, this is going to be a day that takes him down in the points now. As there's Brad Keselowski exiting the pits as we're to the inside of Noah Gragson, and we're continuing to work our way forward now. We are the earliest one to pit, so we should cycle our way forward quite a bit here, especially with the fact that William Byron has not come in yet, and we're running about a second and more faster than the leader right now per lap as Joey Logano now comes out and we're in front of him. Byron still on the racetrack now as we're passing Ross Chastain. There's Ryan Blaney. Blaney was up there in the top 5. We might pass him here down the back straightaway as nearly running into the side of Eric Jones. Byron's now finally pitting, but you have to wonder if they've made the wrong decision staying out this long as we clear the 12 of Blaney, and now we continue on. Denny Hamlin out in front. He is yet to come into the pits. We passed Chris Buescher for position, so we're going to be, I think, second or third once this is all said and done, but we know we're going to be in trouble in terms of just hanging on here now as we have the oldest tires of anybody. We passed Tyler Reddick. Denny Hamlin's now in the pits, and look down there. That's the 20. Christopher Bell's long gone, and as everything cycled through, we were P2 to Christopher Bell, who's long gone. Where's the 24? William Byron is nowhere to be seen after the sequence of pit stops. I'm not sure if there was a slow pit stop. There must have been, because I know he stayed out longer than a lot of these leaders, but not to a point where he should be this far behind. So Bell's long gone, hoping it stays green. Blaney moves soon to P2, and at this point I'm just trying to run my pace, but I know there's only so much that I'm going to be able to do. I just don't have the speed right now because of the fact that these guys around me all have fresher tires. My tire warning light is already back on here on lap 62 as Reddick goes through. How about Chris Buescher having a great run? My crew chief actually recommends pitting for 2 right side tires. That's maybe one of the dumbest calls I've ever seen. Obviously, we're not going to do that. We're down to 24% on the right front, but we're going to stay out and bring this thing home. As the 17 goes by, we drop down to 5th, but not long after that, here comes Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain as well. I think we're going to drop down to 7th, but we should be able to hold on to P7 because I think Joey Logano is just a little ways too far back. But here comes Briscoe. Briscoe is on some of the freshest tires of anybody up here, and he just rips right on by. And here comes the Kubota Trackhouse number 1 of Ross Chastain with 2 laps to go. Look at the right rear now, has burned out more than the right front, down to 12%, but we will make it to the end. Through goes Chastain. Still, William Byron. He's actually, I can see him in my mirror. I can't remember if I bothered to look back or not, but he's like running like 9th or so right now behind Joey Logano. Clearly, they just must have had a bad pit stop or something. And unfortunately, it's now, instead of William Byron winning, it's going to be Christopher Bell leading at the white flag at this point as we head down the back straightaway one final time. How about it? Christopher Bell is going to do it through 3 and off of turn 4. He is going to pick up his 3rd win already in this 2026 season. We're going to hang on for P7, holding up hard, charging number 24, number 11 of Byron and Bell to the line. We take P7. Very strong effort here in Miami. Could not complain about that, and the confidence and the momentum for this Junior Motorsports number 15 team continues to build. As you see, Joey Logano wrapping up the top 10. Only one Hendrick car in the top 10 with William Byron. Kyle Larson ends up in 24th with the damage he suffered from that crash earlier on in the day. Now is Corey LaJoie, Herbst, Ware, Zane Smith, Castro Neves, Custer all at the bottom of the grid, and Christopher Bell now has a 17-point lead here in the chase format over Briscoe. Byron, of course, Elliott and Hamlin, your top 5. Kyle Larson drops to P8. We remain in P12, 3 points behind Joey Logano, and the final spot still belongs to Kyle Busch. He's just 2 points clear of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's going to do it for me. We'll continue to monitor the point situation in this chase format, and I will see you guys in the next episode for some good old-fashioned short track racing at Martinsville. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.
I'm stuck in my head, need an exit.